And joining me, as always, is your co-host Jim
Robots in disguise.
and your co-host Hunter.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Space Game Junkie. On this very night, we stand upon a precipice. That is right. Citizens of the civilized galaxy, on this day, we mark your transit... Wait, that's the Emperor.
This sounds like the... Yeah, I was going to say, this sounds like the intro from frickin' Starlancer, right? Like when you're installing...
Oh, right.
For 1,000 years, the Republic stood as this crowning achievement of civilized beings.
He's got this shit memorized.
Yeah, no, that was a good. That was a good speech in the installer. That was a good speech.
Well, Wingman said he's got it hanging on his wall in the office.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we talked to one of the creators of Starlancer a while back, so that was fun. Yeah, he's working on that Descent game now. But folks, we have 3 guests, so this is going to be extra chaotic because we can't see each other, so we're going to be interrupting each other all the time. Joining us from, you're all in Wisconsin, but I'm going to say, first we have from Door County, Wisconsin. They're all from Mindgrown Software to talk about Convicted Galaxy. Ryan Bumowski, design, programming, and business. Business.
Yep.
Welcome, Ryan.
Just put business in there. Yeah, mostly business.
Business.
I like to wear tuxedos.
I don't know if you guys have seen the Lego movie, but that might be my favorite bit from the entire movie is that little bit right there. Also joining us from Minocqua, Wisconsin, we have Kevin Barthman, design and programming. Hi, Kevin.
Is that anywhere near Menasha?
Hello. Kind of. It's I want to say about 2 hours away.
Oh, okay.
I'm not too familiar with Menasha though.
And finally, joining us from La Crosse, Wisconsin, Aaron Kobach, design and audio.
Correct. Hello.
All right. Welcome, gentlemen. We are here, folks, to talk about a game called Convicted Galaxy. Now, for folks who haven't played the game or haven't heard of it, you guys are live on Steam right now, right? Or you're about to be? I can't remember for some reason.
No, we are not currently live right now, but we do have a version up for beta testers, so we're doing that right now. And that's why you lucky fellows were able to get on there and try it out.
Yeah. Membership has its privileges. So, folks, I guess people who maybe haven't bought it on itch.io, which is where you can get it. If I'm remembering that correctly, I think I am, or I'm not. Oh my God, my brain is melting.
Actually, it's not actually available anywhere right now.
Oh, okay. No, I think I might be thinking of another game. I'm sorry. It's been a weird day. It's election day, folks. Yes. So my brain, that's all we're going to say about election day, by the way, that it is election day.
Wait.
As we record this and our brains are scattered.
This might be the last day.
This might be our last podcast ever. Civilization might collapse.
I hear the Queen is welcoming us back if we want.
179.
Yeah, we might all become British citizens.
Servants, yes.
Servants, maybe.
No,
we don't know.
Hold on,
servants.
Brian.
Yes.
Hold on. This is the last chance I have for this to be relevant, so I have to tell it.
Okay.
So Donald Trump, last summer, he went over to China, right? Because he was talking to them about, international stuff, and he said, we got this immigrant problem. What do you suggest that we do? And China says, we built this giant wall, right? And he says, well, did it work
of
for
rock
you?
and roll.
And the guy says, well, do you see any Mexicans?
Oh, Jesus, I can't believe he told it. I can't believe he told it. I can't believe he told it.
Is that the joke?
No Mexicans in China. The wall is working.
Jesus Christ.
I'm Jim. Jim does not speak for Space Game Junkie right then. Other times he does, but not right then. Anyway, guys,
we got our political joke out.
No more election stuff. No more election stuff. Now, folks, by the way,
that was the last chance, the last moment that will ever be relevant. Right?
I hope so. I hope so. So, folks, if you haven't joined us yet, by the way, we're trying to unify the chat on Discord. If you scroll down to wherever you are, you'll see a link to the chat room in Discord. So please join us on Discord. We have a very lively chat server. People talking there almost all the time. It's great. So please join us on Discord. Now, gentlemen, you mind-grown folks. First, where'd that name come from, out of curiosity?
Oh, my goodness. I've it was a discussion that we were having when that video came out about Mr. Rogers and growing in the garden of his mind.
Yes,
So
I love that video.
that's actually where the name kind of
Oh,
started
I
from.
love it. I love it.
And I actually came up with some cool designs, and I was like, you know what, I kind of like this. It's just stupid enough,
Oh, that's great.
but also I can go with it. So that kind of stuck.
Rambly Bit, I got to meet him twice, and he was just as wonderful in person as he was on the TV. So
Awesome.
So there you go. Mr. Rogers was the best. Anyway.
Lucky you.
Oh, yes. I feel very blessed. So, you guys have a game called Convicted Galaxy. Now, folks, we might have folks who might not have heard of the game, excuse me. What's the elevator pitch, like the bullet points for this game?
Oh, I have like 13 different lists of them, but what they actually
hit us. Go.
Pitch. But I think the one.
Oh my God! You actually have notes. Do I hear paper rustling?
I know. I literally do. Yes.
Oh, that's great. No, I love it. I love it. That's great. Please hit us.
Well, because I mean, you've played the game. There's a lot going on.
God, yes, there is.
A lot of different things to try to say. So I'm trying to boil it down. And I think what I ended up boiling it down to is Convicted Galaxy is a 2.5D procedurally generated action roguelite set in space. So
I like it.
That's kind of what we're going with.
And as someone who has played the game, if you're watching the video, friends, I can verify that all those things are accurate. Every one of those things.
I could give you the long-winded version too.
Go for it.
All right. This is just to like make myself write a paragraph as a elevator pitch. It's a procedurally generated, action-packed 2.5D third-person perspective territorial space exploration game with permadeath.
Yeah,
I can attest to the permadeath.
Yeah, I've experienced that personally.
Oh yeah. Look, you'll see in the video. I lasted this round. The first time I played it, I lasted about half an hour, 45 minutes, because I didn't rush to build a base so quickly. But this time I built a base like right away, and I lasted 16 minutes.
So is building a base like that summons Doom? Like
yes.
Okay.
I think it makes
basically once you do that, you're done.
I was gonna say it makes you a bigger. I'm guessing it makes you a bigger threat to the other factions in the system, and so they come gunning for you. I'm guessing.
Yeah, of sorts.
Come and knock on my door.
Yeah, we give you a little bit of leeway in the beginning, so when people first start the game, they can kind of feel the ship out and know kind of what to do. Because we could spawn people right away, but that wouldn't be nice if you just picked it up.
Right.
But that's also part of a roguelike, I guess.
Yeah. Now, basically, folks, the game as I've played it so far is basically you find yourself in a system, and you've got a couple of derelicts and some asteroids to mine, and you can find a planet, build a base, and then you have to scan the other planets. I've never gotten this far, but the game seems to want you to scan the other planets in the system while also collecting resources for your own base to improve not just your base, but your ship as well. Is that kind of where it's going so far? Yeah. And
absolutely.
Every system is different. I mean, there's always an asteroid ring like around the outer bit of it, but that's really the only similarity I've seen so far.
When you pick a planet, does it get jealous when you keep scanning the other planets, even though you just really can't help it?
Absolutely, yes. You'd be surprised, but there is actually a mechanic for that.
Scanning it.
Wait, say again. There's a what for what? What?
There will be a mechanic for that. Yes.
Oh my God! So basically, your home base is Mogo from the Green Lantern. It's a living planet.
Yeah, it's gonna get upset with you.
I saw you looking at that other planet.
I kind of love that. So since none of us have gotten that far in the game, let me ask, because it's not easy. Like I was fending off like one little wave of bad guys, but eventually like two different factions not only started fighting each other, which I loved. I thought that was great when they got close enough to each other, they started shooting at each other. But then like, wait, we're supposed to all be killing that guy. So then they all came for me, and I didn't last then. But is the goal to take over that particular? Times. It was great, actually. It's really a lot of fun. Now, is the goal to eventually take over the solar system by weeding the other factions out?
Yeah, that's pretty much the goal of a single solar system. You want to destroy the other enemies in that area. There's actually going to be 2 enemy factions, and then you want to weed them out, take over their actual planets, get rid of their stations, and once you kind of have control of that system, you'll be able to freely move to other systems and explore those without having to worry about coming back and protecting your previously built stations too much.
Oh, okay. But so you'll be able to go back and gather resources and keep upgrading your stations, so your system will
Correct.
become. Oh, wow. And so, is it? This might be a harsh question, but is it rinse and repeat in the other systems where you build a base, take over the other bases, and so on and so forth? Or are there like differences between the systems as you go across the map?
So right now, yes, we're still kind of early development in it, and
Okay.
it's rinse and repeat right now. They are going to be unique, just like every other system that you get to. But eventually, and kind of one of the upcoming things, beside putting the journal entries in, which we'll probably hit at some point, is going to be kind of these time-based events or kind of
Oh,
unique events like
kind of like
showers.
kind of like quests and things, like kind
It'll
of
be a
like.
little bit like quests, but you're basically like a comet will come through a solar system and wreak havoc in it. Um, there'll be
Solar
Okay.
flares,
extended
asteroid
solar
showers,
flares. Yeah.
black holes.
Oh, I like
So
that.
kind of space phenomena that goes on that you'll have to either get away from or try to go and protect your systems from.
Now, will the other factions be doing basically the same thing you're doing, and eventually you're all going to butt heads? At some point
I mean,
across the map.
We don't want to give everything away, right?
That's fair.
But
That's fair.
no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's exactly what kind of the idea is.
Oh,
The
nice.
whole overarching story isn't all put together in the game yet, but the idea is that you've all been brought out to this unknown solar system in a prison ship. That prison ship has had a catastrophic failure of some kind. You're all launched out into space, and now you're all trying to get back to a place that you can kind of call home, or at least to the ship, so that you can kind of get out of here, get away from this unknown area. So at that
Okay.
point, that's kind of once you start to get further in the game and you get to a point where you start to reconverge, there's going to be a whole nother style of battles.
Oh, okay. And I wanted to ask about the ship too, because you not only can upgrade your bases, but you can choose a specialization for your ship, and it looks like that specialization unlocks specific. Okay, it unlocks specific abilities. I was gonna say unlock specific unlocks, but that sounds ridiculous. But it looks like
Right, yeah.
But it looks like there are like what 4 different specializations you can choose at the beginning of the game, which I've only chosen the one so far. So what are the 4 and how do they affect the game?
Yeah, so you're playing with the EMP specialist right now. It's a little bit of a smaller ship. It has an EMP blast, and that will actually disable ships and technology in the game. So if you use it, it will kind of send out this little wave. And
Yeah, so if you go by like defenses, they'll start like tumbling and they'll be disabled for a little bit.
Yes, and then what you can do is use the mechanic of the grappling hook or the tether, and latch onto them and get more power cores to use your ability even more. So it allows you to gather more power cores to use your ability and warp out of the system.
Yeah, I can go over that a little bit more since that was I guess that was more my brainchild.
Yeah,
I
if you want to go over all the abilities, that's fine.
Yeah, so
Please.
each of the specializations essentially your ship changes a little bit. It's basically hosts these new abilities that your ship can do. So as Ryan just went over, the initial one is the EMP. And there's 3 other ones. There's one, it's basically combat oriented. That'll give you a drone that you can have with you, and it'll make your ship a little beefier. There's the power one, and that will give you a black hole, or gravity implosion, more technically as we call it. And you can launch that out, and it'll kind of suck everything in, so you can pull in ships and have like a center of attack that you can launch missiles at and whatnot. Or if you're going against a planet that has a bunch of satellites around it and you kind of want to damage them all in one big blast, you can pull them all into one point. And then there's the one with the decoy, which is more speed oriented. So when you get that one, you'll be able to go super fast. And then along with that, because it's more agility base, the decoy will help you get away from situations, and then anything that's hostile will target that over anything. So essentially they're all add-ons to your ship, and in the end you can get all of them. So you'll end up with this ship that has all these abilities, is just mega tanked out.
Oh, okay. And so you can't like specialize in all four. You have to choose one. I'm guessing.
At the beginning we give you one.
Right.
But then you can invest in getting the rest of them throughout the game.
Oh, I like that. I was worried that you're just locked into that one and you're like done, you know.
Oh no.
Oh, very nice.
We want you to have it all.
Well, I want me to have it all too. Absolutely. So basically, like, so you always have the one ship. Can you buy new guns for it? I mean, I didn't see much in the way of ship customization options other than those specialties we're talking about. Are there like pieces of equipment you can buy, or the upgrades you get, are they determined by the specialties, by those unlocks?
More so the latter. We're still working on the specifics of that whole upgrade tree. We're trying to mostly balance it out and see what's fun, see what really works, and what's going to really give some good gameplay. But ultimately, yeah, we want it to allow you to customize your ship even deeper as far as weapons and whatnot. So some of them will give you a cluster shot for missiles, so you'll be able to launch, like 3 at a time, or have like a shotgun blast for your plasma shot. And we'd like to get more creative with that. Potentially having different gun slots and whatnot. But we're not going so much where you have like items. We're trying to avoid that. We want it to be kind of straight and simple, more so flow. Instead of too much inventory management, we want it to kind of focus more on the action rather than the micro gameplay. But ultimately, yeah, we want to have more of that individual weapon customization in the game that will be fun, and you'll be able to quick make decisions and know kind of what you want without having to read too many screens and compare different stats and whatnot.
Are there different views in this, or because I've got that slightly above the ship external view from behind? And I was just like, when I was playing, I was kind of like trying to figure out what the enemy ships were doing, and if my camera was a little higher, where I had like a
the scroll wheel
angle.
actually you can zoom out. There's actually some ways that you can turn around the camera a little bit too. We've been wanting to try out a free look mechanic. We just haven't done that yet. But if you have something targeted, right now the space bar will actually focus your ship on it and turn you towards it. Or the control, if you press left control, it will zoom you in on it. We want to make it in-game manual. Our game has kind of exploded with the amount of things you can do with it. So,
what are you guys cooking this in? Unity or Unreal or what?
Yeah, Unity.
It says Unity when you launch it.
Well,
yeah. We want to get rid of that.
Good catch.
Well,
I'm assuming it could be a line. It's actually Unreal, and you guys just somehow put the splash screen in there.
Yeah. That's actually the joke. Is it's in Unreal, and we actually just throw Unity on it.
It's built in Unreal with Unity. What?
Right. We use both the engines.
I bet you that's going to happen.
We didn't use both the engines.
I bet you that's going to happen at some point. Is someone's going to meld them together? It's going to be the craziest. That would be a
fun project.
It's going to be the craziest stuff you ever saw. Like so nuts. So
I feel bad for whoever does that.
Oh, you just died. Nice.
Oh yeah, I totally died because
16 minutes. That's pretty impressive.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. I thought it was short, but okay.
I mean, I guess usually we're running around trying to die half the time anyway, but I mean, 16 minutes is pretty good.
I was not trying to die. The 2 repair things that I was able to build were very helpful. That was very nice. So I really enjoy that you can build that, because I was like, oh god, I'm taking damage, run away. So I like that you have that option to build those repair platforms.
So like if you run back to your base, all right, because you run around and you scan some planets. What's different about the planets that makes you decide I'm going to build my base at this one?
Yeah, so it's not as evident as we would like it to be right now, but there are a resource that we call materials that are on those planets. And that's what you're basically trying to do and get, kind of gather while you're kind of stationing, or what we used to call colonizing these planets. Once you station them, you're allowed to use those materials to get upgrades, purchase new items or new satellites, things like that. So really, it's the materials that you're trying to gather.
And it's so with the materials, it's not quite like scrap where you want to collect as much of it as you can. It's you just want to have access to that resource. So if you have a planet that you control that has a certain type of material, you're able to use that in any upgrade, and you don't run out of it unless you lose that planet.
Okay, does it like extract it from the planet over time, kind of thing, or?
No, you actually just have it.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, there's. I wanted something that wasn't quite so destructive, and just the idea that you control this planet, you're able to use that resources, that material, and you're not using it to the point of destruction. Kind of thinking about it, we're in this super futuristic world where they're able to use just very small amounts of it to get what they want.
Oh, okay. It would be kind of cool though if your base was like a giant vacuum cleaner and you're just hoovering little people off the planet as it orbited around.
It would.
That's what you burn for fuel.
Writing that down in the notes right now.
Oh no, it's Starflight all over again.
Yeah, you zoom in and they're just screaming little people like, ah!
Oh no,
Getting sucked into the wood chipper.
I kind of want that just in space though, like when the prison ship goes in the opening scene and it blows up, it kind of starts breaking apart. I'd like little people to be flying out.
Is that what that is?
Awesome. Yeah,
I didn't know that's what that was. I didn't know that's what that was.
So yeah, that's our prison ship.
Oh, very nice.
Well, instead of a prison, maybe it could be like lizard aliens that are taking them to an interstellar McDonald's.
Oh man,
actually, it's a cattle car that.
Oh
man, now I want McDonald's.
Everyone late night after bars trying to go find their McDonald's.
That's right. The aliens are out cruising. It's 2 a.m. What's open?
There's one ET who's.
And that's why they crash, because they're drunk and they bounce off an asteroid.
They're in small town. They're in a small town system where there's only one McDonald's in the entire.
Kids.
There's only one.
You got us. We were saving that for the end, but you found it. You found us out.
Now, I really like the combat. It's very hectic because there does seem to be some Newtonian thing going on, but like you said, it's 2.5D, so it's kind of somewhat Newtonian. Am I right about that? Or because there's some kind of physics happening. It's not just like free space where you just point and go. It does feel like there's some kind of inertia happening.
Yeah, there's definitely inertia on the bullets, on the missiles, on everything that's going on. It's all physics based. Yep.
Yeah, put me a little bit in mind of Drifter.
Yeah, a little bit.
I haven't played it, actually. Although it was kind of something that we looked at. I think we started doing 2.5D, and then we started looking at games that also did 2.5D, and we ran into Drifter, and we're like, oh, uh-oh.
Drifter is quite different, though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Drifter is quite different. Also great, but different.
It has a totally different look. I mean, it has that same style of look, but a totally different gameplay experience.
Oh yeah, and Drifter, it's a well-established universe with stations and NPCs going about their business. But here, you have to build the station and yada yada yada. So it's definitely a different type of I don't know if there's map control in Drifter like there is here, and that's a big difference.
Yeah, Drifter is more trading oriented.
Yeah, Drifter's more like
doing quests and whatnot.
Yeah, like privateer elite type of thing, where this is more of a space pirates and zombies map control sort of kind. Not really. That's the zombies first game that came. Zombies. Yes, put it in the game. Everyone loves zombies. That's what everyone wants in the game, right? Dinosaurs.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, and be sure to put some kind of crafting survival thing in the game as well.
You're not a game if you don't have that.
Exactly. You got to have some kind of crafting survival thing going on nowadays, I guess.
That definitely was
bandages.
Well, with Westworld getting popular, I think we're going to start to see some Western games roll in.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
There's
Red
already
Dead
some,
Redemption, right?
like,
well,
there's-
Red Dead, yes,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
But there's
But-
Hard West, and then there's that there's what's that Adult Swim game? It's not Desperados, but it's something else.
there's the Sombrero.
Trocadero.
Westernados or something.
Something like that. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, so there are some. But yeah, I wouldn't mind if there were some more. What was that Ubisoft one they put out a couple years ago that was really awesome? That Western game they did? Oh, God, I can't fucking
I think you're the only one.
Yeah, I know the one
Oh,
you're talking
great.
about because it was a series and the first few weren't that great, but,
But
then
this-
the most recent one was amazing.
Yeah,
Because
because like
it's the old man telling the story, and then he's just like, "Yeah, it was like 5 guys," and then you're fighting these guys, and he's like, "No, I lied. It was 20
You
guys."
talking about Call of Juarez?
Yeah, Call of
Yes,
Juarez.
yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
That
because he's
game-
like, no, it was 20 guys, and suddenly 15 more guys spawn in.
That game was so good, by the way. Oh, if you like pulpy westerns, that is, you can't really do much better than maybe Red Dead, maybe. But this game's
Yeah,
even less serious.
they need to just hurry up and get Red Dead out on PC because I can't stand it anymore.
I don't know if
it's gonna
I got an
happen.
Xbox.
Technically, you can play it on your PC
Oh, right,
with the PlayStation
right.
Now service or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's the $20, right? That's what's
Yeah, that's the
slows
Not
me down.
denying that it's expensive and stupid, but whatever.
Well, 15 for a World of Warcraft subscription for the month, but with those guys you can play the whole catalog for $20, right? So it's not really a huge stretch. It's just a little stretch.
It's not
It's
even
a
the
little
whole
stretchy.
catalog, but
Oh, really?
No, it's
Yeah, nope.
it's growing. It's growing, but it's not huge yet.
it's like the Origin thing where you pay the $5 a month, but they've only got like 15 games. You can
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Well,
Once they-
but then
yeah.
there's also the Nvidia thing, right? With the
Well, that's
Oh.
different.
3 months
That's
of
actually a
free.
full. That's a full streaming service. Yeah.
No
right,
one cares
but
about
you
it.
only get certain games that you can stream, and then the other ones you actually have to purchase and then stream. So it's kind of like,
Well, that was a
I don't know,
tangent.
but that's
Sorry,
8 a month.
folks. Sorry, folks.
Yeah,
Okay,
It's
I
expected, right?
think what we learned is add a Western element to your game somehow.
yeah,
little bit of
space
Firefly.
pirates and dinosaurs.
Can never get enough
and
Firefly in a
zombies.
game.
Yeah, you
So
got it.
really,
Yeah,
what-
Firefly.
That's-
Firefly.
My
with,
question is what did the Galaxy do to be convicted? Like,
Did it
That's a good
involve
question.
emails?
I mean,
It got in the way of a drunk alien lizard.
Yeah.
But in
wow, that's fantastic.
but in more seriousness, it's the idea that this prison ship was drifting in this galaxy, and when it had its breakdown,
Was
all
that
the
like an
prisoners got
emotional
launched out.
thing, or
Yeah, a lot of tears.
so it just
Sorry,
had a little bit of a?
Jim, shut up.
It was verklempt.
Oh,
Yes.
Died of dysentery.
oh, who's
Something
Terry?
much worse.
Why are you dysentery, man?
Terry
Why are
Tate.
you dysentery?
Continue. It's
Uh,
tell us about this tramp. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, we are.
Kevin is,
Where did this go?
Yeah, I don't even know. Okay, so back to Convicted Galaxy. So, like, right now, there's not much of a story. It's like that ship blows up, you're in a ship, done, here, have fun. Will there be, like, is the story there, like, I don't know if you guys have played a game called Rodina, but in that game, you start with a ship, but you find the story on the way as you discover logs around the system you're in. Is it going to be like that, or is there going to be more cutscene-y type thing going on?
Yeah, I haven't played that game. Is it good?
It's very good.
It's,
It's very good. It's getting better all the time, as the song says.
yeah, I think it's being developed by a guy, right? And
Yeah, a guy.
he's,
Who formerly
and
worked on
it's
Oblivion.
pretty good. It's pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I'll check it out. I've seen it. I think it's on my wish list even. But yeah, it's going to be very similar to that. So we plan to release some trailers here coming up. We've just we've had this idea, and we've kind of concreted the actual details of the story and what actually happens at the beginning. And once we have the trailer set up, the player should know at least that much of it. But while you're playing the game, you will discover logs. There's that's a big part we haven't really implemented yet. We've got huge ideas for that, and that's what's actually going to be kind of pushing the unlock system as well. So not only will you, if you want, you can read through the logs and actually read the stories and get as deep as you want into it, or you can just look at the top line and we'll have a couple bulleted events or tasks for you to do, and you can go do those tasks. So if you're just jumping into play for 15-20 minutes, you just want a quick playthrough, you can jump in and do that. You don't have to read anything. But if you want to dive in, you can go through all those journal logs and get as much of the story as you want.
Yeah, and those journal logs are essentially going to be from your fellow. See, you're flying around. You're part of this. We call it the Interstellar Correctional Task Force, ICTF, and you're not the only one that got launched out here. There's other agents who got launched out here, but their pods didn't quite make it. So on the way, their ships got put in a stasis, and they're just floating. They're kind of out of it, and the pilots are kind of put into some sort of cryogenic freeze. But they have their own logs on their ship, and that's what you pick up along the way. So when you actually do your tether beam, it blows up the ship. It's not supposed to blow up the ship. It's supposed to be more of you're extracting, pulling out the contents of the ship. And so when you do that, you're saving the pilot on that ship, as well as grabbing any information from that ship, along with the power cores and whatnot. So you're able to figure out, like, okay, what happened to this guy before he got to this solar system, and it's just different logs that these guys had. It could have been from their time on the ship, or just on their travel just before they got before their ship got shut down, or some of their ships might not have been fully going at launch. So that's going to be kind of how we tell the story throughout the game.
Oh, I dig it. I totally dig it.
Yeah, I guess there. Oh, sorry to cut you off, but
go ahead.
We don't show too much of the story, and Kevin's right. We do have quite a bit of story that we were basing the game off of, and the whole idea behind that prison ship breaking up in the beginning in the main menu is actually the catastrophic event that this prison ship goes through and releases all the prisoners and all of the guards. So that's why you see these derelict prison ships, or these derelict ships, and you have the enemies. They're the prisoners and other factions that have aligned with the prisoners that are coming out to get you and try to kind of wipe the guards out. So, kind of that's where the story kind of revolves from, and you don't get too much of that just from what we have right now. But we try to put as much as we can in visually, or have been able to. But there will be a lot more.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do like the those small little bullet points in the upper corner. Like, this is what you should do. You don't really have to. I mean, if you want to progress, yeah, but you can still go around just shooting stuff right now. Go ahead, have fun, But these are the things we think you should do eventually. I like that. I like that kind of openness, but with a nudge here and there.
It's like, basically, if you don't do these, the other guys are gonna wreck you.
Yeah, so you don't have to you don't have to do them right now. Right. You should do them soon-esque.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And that's, I think, the first time you played it, from your playthrough, it seemed that you're trying to follow those step by step, and we took that feedback just from watching you and said, we don't want it to feel like that. We don't want you to feel like you've got to do every single step.
I like that.
And just by watching you, we're like, you know what? Let's cut as much as we can out, and just let's say, hey, go save some people and get out of here. I mean, those are pretty simple tasks to give you, and if you don't want to follow them, that's up to you. And then if you do fine and you make your way out, that's great. If you get your ass kicked, we tried to tell you, right?
You tried to say, hey, you should have done this.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any kind of after action report, like this is where you failed, or this is how many resources you made, but these other guys made this much more than you?
Yeah. So
good.
Right now, the little thing that we have when you die now is I think I took like 5-10 minutes to put that in, just because we wanted to have that, but we didn't have it. and it wasn't one of our big things to put in. So I threw it in there because I think it needs to be there, but it will be a lot more in depth as we move forward. Yeah, you'll see your resources collected. You'll see possibly even what you missed out on, what you're able to kind of pick up next time, and all of that.
So is there a win condition that I could eventually someday maybe get lucky and get to?
Yeah, I mean, how much time do you got? Like,
well, I mean,
how many years do you have?
Well, I mean, do you like continue? Okay, from iteration to iteration, right? Like Everspace is also a roguish space game, right? Where you run around and you die a lot.
Right.
But every time you die, you advance a little bit. You get to keep something, right?
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, I love that, and that's one of the main goals of the game. Is mine was from Rogue Legacy actually, and I want to have what I called it. I don't even think they call it, but I called it Legadeath, where you kind of you die, and sure it's permadeath, but you have something that lives with you, whether it's like your offspring or whatever. And I think what we've kind of have a plan here is to go forward, and the logs are kind of going to be that thing that gives you that. So like I said, I kind of mentioned the journals will end up giving you your unlocks, and that's going to be based on how often you play and what type of play that you like to do. So similar to Risk of Rain as well, the more that you have a certain play style, the more you're going to unlock stuff in those areas. So that's kind of what we're planning on going with. So there will be some of that, and yet yes, there is an end game. It is a few solar systems away, but there will definitely be an end game that once you get there, it will be the end, and you've made it.
It's there. We don't have it enabled in the early access version because there's some kinks that we got to work out. Just because we're but a mere 2 programmers, but we have a prototype of what it's going to be, and it works. We just have to figure out. We want to make it fun and a fully engaging experience for the end of the game. We won't give it away what exactly happens at the end of the game. I'm not saying that because we don't know what we're gonna do. We know exactly what we're doing with it.
Will you tell me if I'm right? So what about like along the way you're collecting artifacts or something, and then when you get to the end of the game, if you've got all the artifacts, you can like activate the Death Star, and then you own that, and you just cruise around and blow it.
Actually, Kevin, let's do that. Yeah.
You're actually somewhat close. That's the one guess I'll give you. You're not too far off.
Yeah, you're
not. I just figure you get like a big galaxy destroying gun at the end, and you can just be like, screw you guys.
Well, I do want to give a little bit of a kind of a, I don't know, a little bit of a teaser. I saw one speed in chat asked about capital ships.
Yeah, good. I wanted to answer that.
And that's kind of something that we're looking into for endgame. So once you you've beat the game, we want to have modes or an opportunity to actually have a much larger ship that can go around and just destroy any galaxy or any solar system that you go into in the galaxy. So we do want to have some type of capital ships eventually. It might not be so much of a gameplay oriented decision, but something to have fun at the end or in an alternate mode.
And part of it too is from what I've seen of your gameplay, you generally stick close to your planet. But a lot of the game as well, when you get to later stages, will be sieging planets and going from planet to planet and taking them over. So it's kind of hard when you're one single little ship, a single mortal ship. So having these capital ships to help you in your siege warfare will be a major help as well.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
And you'll be able to fly up to them and actually dock onto them. And that's the thing we've messed around with too, is having ships where you can dock onto and actually got it working, and you can upgrade those ships and give them shields and power them up and whatnot.
Ooh, that gives me a wicked idea. Maybe not for this game, or maybe for this game. Did you guys ever play Paradroid? Or there's a recent game called Headlander that kind of did this too. Right?
I've heard of Headlander.
Okay, so Headlander, there's a bunch of headless robots around, or you can shoot the head off of a robot and then fly your head over there and dock onto it, and then you run that robot. So, and Paradroid was kind of the same deal, but you would actually hack the robot and then switch bodies, basically.
Okay.
You know, it was like the soul of your robot would jump chassis to chassis. But I was just thinking, like, well, if you can dock on a capital ship, maybe you are the cockpit, kind of like what they did in Independence War 2, where you could undock the cockpit from one ship and then dock it onto another one, and then that's your ship.
Well, you'll be very happy because that will be the goal eventually. Like you're thinking like you'll be able to control the ship, right?
Yeah, it was basically, you know, it's like I'm fighting this other ship. I can target the cockpit and just shoot it off and then trade up, right? Like now that's my ship.
Ooh.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Or you just find an abandoned one, right? And just like dock up to it and just be like, I'm taking this one.
One of the factions may also be a hacker group that definitely might be involved in some of that type of stuff.
Hint.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Well, you know how like whenever you program an industrial robot, right? It's like they have a control thing, and you take the robot like through the motions. It's almost like you make a macro for it, and then it just repeats that. So could you train a ship by, let's say you dock up to the ship, and then you fly that ship the way that you want it to go, and then you undock from it, and it'll just repeat that. Like if you send it on a trade mission or something. I don't know. Nobody's ever really
giving me
done
crazy ideas.
Yeah, stop. Kevin's a programmer. He literally is now itching to go do all this.
I'm the AI guy, so I go wild over ideas like that.
So, what other stuff have you guys
Let's
made?
talk about economy.
Yeah, why don't we get on it?
Let's talk about Railroad Tycoon in space.
For
I won't
projects.
do that, you guys.
I don't think we really posted. I did some stuff for school, and I can't really talk about, or I did it for a client, but I can't really talk about it because it was NDA, and it was basically she never released it. So I'm really angry because it was an awesome project, but it never got released.
Where did you take programming in school? Is that like where this comes from? You were like a computer science degree guy, or straight game dev, or what?
Yeah, no, I was computer information systems is what they call it, but it's more along business oriented computer programming. And I did that. I was in the Air Force prior to that, and I got out of that, went to school for a few years, finished up my degree, and that's actually where I met Kevin. And he was going through a similar program, but I think he did. Kevin, you did like a little.
I was
bit
doing a double major.
Yeah,
I was also doing the web and digital media development, which was a bit more of interactive media and whatnot.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to. It's like I've got Unity and I've got Unreal both installed on my laptop, and it's like to do stuff at the command line in C or C#, I'm okay, but whenever you add a game engine to that, I'm screwed, right? Like I need to sit with somebody and have them actually kind of like get the baby steps going, right? Like if I do rollerball demo or something, then I'll probably be all right. But
it took days and months even of kind of just sitting down and learning Unity itself.
Yeah, so it's just like, let's make a block and make the block move around, and then okay, and now I've got that.
We need some screenshots of our first build.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
yeah. So
do like a mantra of it.
Well, that's the thing, right? An opportunity here, right? Is if you feel bloggy, right? Is kind of like the technical hurdles that you run into, and I don't mean like we invented the wheel finally, but just incrementally along the way. It's just like, man, the AI is doing this thing. We're trying to figure out how to make it do this, and then you can just write like a little article, and that way, if you ever have to go back and reference how you did something, or if somebody else needs to reference how the heck you do something, like your pathfinding or stuff like that, then because I would love to read that from somebody that's basically like me, right? It's kind of like, I know a little bit of programming, but I haven't mastered an engine yet or anything, and we keep having these people on here that I can't have the discussion like down in the weeds where I'm at, because they're like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 30 years. And, it's like, it's
right.
It's
just
like,
write an abstract class, just inherit the interface that you write for it. It's like, what?
Exactly.
Where do I start with that?
Yeah. It's like you start talking and it's like, beep, 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 okay.
Yeah, that's Kevin. But no, yeah, actually Kevin and I have chatted quite a bit about even starting up a channel on either Discord or YouTube or Twitch, and just kind of streaming some of that stuff. And it'd be cool to actually have maybe you on, and we'll
yeah, I'll play the clueless idiot. It'll be very easy.
Yeah, we'll be like, okay.
I find that naturally.
I need that.
Do you left mouse?
I start talking in jargon way too fast.
But yeah,
I'll repay you the favor. I'll teach you enterprise storage because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know where to begin with that. You got me big.
Nobody does. I've been teaching school for I just changed jobs, and it's like there's other storage guys there, but it's like I'm the guy that actually worked for the vendor. So now I come in and I'm just like, well, let me actually teach you how to use this thing. So, and it's kind of cool, right? Because it's like they're teaching me like the 99% of this job that I don't know, and then I'm handing them something really valuable in return. So it's kind of it feels good.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's kind of fun. You jump into the technicals of that. Ryan and I kind of came from different bases on this. Ryan's been trying to start up my own software and been working on different stuff. We're both somewhat fresh out of college. I mean, I'm only 2 years out. Ryan, you're about the same. And I've been looking to expand my technical skills and start experimenting in different things and really being able to have the time to experiment with AI and different game development concepts. And this has kind of been that child of me wanting to be able to do a lot of that stuff, and Ryan's gotten on me about that because like I went with our AI system. I built this crazy complex AI system and ended up working. But it's been a fun experience to just build a lot of that different stuff because it's like I not too long ago I was in that same position where sure I'm a programmer but I don't know how to use Unity or use Unreal, and I've been wanting to just so bad. So I just like I'm gonna do this crazy complex thing. I don't know how I'm gonna do it in Unity, but I'm gonna do it. And that's been a lot of what this project has been.
Well, you know what blows my mind is like that game Pandora First Contact, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he just sat down. He was just like, the AI sucks, and he rewrote the AI for the computer players playing against you. Like how complicated a 4X game has to be. Like I've listened to Brad Wardell, lecture for like an hour about how he wrote AI for stuff in Galciv, and it's just like, holy crap, but how much of this is actually exposed? How did they expose all that? Because without the source code, how did you do this? And, so what I'm thinking is they made it super modular, and the majority of it is actually defined in external config files or something. So I wonder.
Yeah, that's a lot of what we've done.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that's like a smart takeaway from that is like expose a lot of your stuff in easily tweakable files instead of like baking it right into the engine. And Unity kind of makes that a little bit of a pain in the ass because they got the prefab stuff and it's kind of monolithic.
Well, it gets tricky if you
for the end
if you kind of trick it into what you want and you be very careful about what you click on. Unity can be very modular, but you have to make sure you build everything in a very specific way. Like if you make everything a prefab and be very careful with how you treat those prefabs, then it can be very modular. But no, you're very right. Everything needs to be very modular in anything you're building. That's with object-oriented programming. I won't go too in depth, but
Kevin, don't come on. This isn't the programming.
I'm staying focused.
We love that sort of thing.
We need to have the programming show some night, right? It is just like have some guys on that just want. Yeah, some guys that just want to geek out on like how to do pathfinding, right? We could just have like a whole hour show about people beating each other up about whose pathfinding is better.
Right. Well, I'll hit very lightly on what I was going to say. There's what are called the 4 pillars of object-oriented programming: abstraction, polymorphism, encapsulation, and inheritance. Now, I mean, some of those can kind of make sense. The other ones might go over your head, but the main ones that you were kind of touching on are abstraction and encapsulation. And abstraction, obviously, just work at a higher level. Take these minor things that are kind of complicated and down in the dirt, bits, ones and zeros, and just turn them into something that means something more intuitively. And that's a huge part of programming. And that kind of builds into encapsulation, where you're trying to separate those bits and ones and zeros from anything else, so you can work on, okay, I want to make the AI go and attack this planet, but only when these parameters are true. Well, how do you actually do that? Well, you make one layer where that happens, and then you say, okay, I need this input at this time, and then you have the whole separate layer. So it gets crazy, but it's fun. It's what I do. So I get super into it.
So how often do you like go down the rabbit hole and blow a lot of time on something, and then you like refactor it and figure out like, oh yeah, I could have done that in 2 moves instead of because that's always my process. It's like every time I make something, I write like this pile of spaghetti, and then I realize like, oh, hey,
well, that's pretty. I've kind of come to realize that sometimes, unless you're willing to spend like a week or 2 minimum, not always, but on anything substantial, on just designing and prototyping. And I mean, in any formal large scale project, you really should do that. But if you're kind of a ragtag game dev like Ryan and I, usually that's just kind of how it goes, is that you know you need to figure something out and you need to do it, but you need to at least come up with something. So you just start programming something and putting it together, and just prototyping is essentially what it is. And then you realize, oh, I figured out exactly what it's supposed to be like. Oh, this is wrong. Like one good example in our project is the way that the satellites and the stations orbit around our planet. It started off it just needs to happen. We just need this. This is a major part of our game. We have to make it orbit around our planet. So I made it in one way, and it was very basic. And there's some super funky maths to it that just kind of weren't very intuitive, and they would just completely lock your character, and you wouldn't be able to move. And then eventually one day, not too long ago, just a super major breaking bug came up, and I was just like, nope, deleting that whole system. I'm just rebuilding it. And it's just like, it's kind of just what needs to happen sometimes.
Yeah, it's those days when you like block comment out half your app. And
oh yeah,
I swear at one point we did a little cleanup, but I swear we almost had more comments than code.
I worked for this dude, and I was just like, how come you guys don't have any documentation like about the API or whatever? And he looks at me and he's like, well, the code documents itself. If you can read the code, it's just, and I'm just like,
That's actually Kevin's. That's what Kevin loves. He loves self-documenting code, and he like lives by it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like, it's cool if you document in the code, but he's talking about, well, just like read what the functions are, and you know what they do. And it's like, how about
it took me a while to build up to that. I guess so Ryan kind of gave his background. I worked for 2 years at a place called Skyward. Really good company. They make educational software, and their main language that I was working with is C#. And I was working on a team that was probably about 50 people or so. And so when you get to that scale of programmers, I mean, that's a fairly large team. Not as big as some of like the huge game companies, but it's a fairly big team. When you get to that level, there's huge, rigorous standard system, because you just got to make sure that all 50 people are writing code that everybody's going to be able to read at some point. And everybody follow the rule of self-documenting code. So basically your functions will use human readable words that make sense with what they do. Now you need a little bit of training and know a little bit about object-oriented programming to kind of make anything out of it. But it's something you'll see a lot in a lot of different organizations.
Yeah, it's much better than somebody using like X, or N, or it's like, oh my God, what's that? So yeah, and thank God for tab complete, because now you can get away with that.
But yeah, don't get me started any more programming stuff, because I won't stop.
We'll take that like aside from the show, because
on to more game specific questions. Then, like you were talking about the AI, and I was curious: do the different factions have different like aggression levels or different AI types? Or are they all just balls to the wall? I hate you.
Well,
I want to kill you.
We're going to build up to having the different. Yeah, that's something I want to do, and something that wouldn't be too terribly hard. Is that the different factions will have different things that they value more than others. For the most part, the AI thinks in a way, I would say that people somewhat think like in the fact that, okay, you have all these different things you can do. What's the best thing to do right now? And it depends on various factors. So a ship that's cruising up to your planet is taking into account what's its health, what's its shield, does it have any friendly stations, does it have any home bases in the current solar system, and what's the threat level of this incoming planet. And if it comes across a planet that just has a ton of satellites orbiting around it, it'll be like, oh, nope, getting out of here, and it'll run back home. Or it might belong to a squad, and it can kind of do whatever it wants, but at any one point, if it realizes, oh, I'm too far away from my squad, it's going to go back to its squad. And I want to expand that up to a faction level too. So different factions have different things that they kind of value more than others, and I'll kind of weight it more into that category. I took a fairly complex AI system that I probably shouldn't have started with, but it ended up working out after lots of tweaking and balancing. And it's proven to work pretty well. And I think as we develop and scale the AI, it should really expand on the uniqueness of the AI encounters. Because as you might have noticed in some of the combat, you'll like attack an enemy and they'll skirt away and then they'll come back, or they might come up to a planet and be like, oh, nope, I'll get away. A lot of that, I really don't know how it happens. And not even just saying that in the fact of like I just programmed something. It's like, sure, it just works. No, it's just it's kind of procedural, like, or not procedural AI. It's just you can't. There's so many factors that you can't really predict exactly what that agent is going to do in a particular moment in time.
So
and because of this,
by the emergent behavior,
yeah, that's the magic word I was looking for. Thank you. It's really gives rise to a lot of emergent behavior in the AI, and just the combination of all these different things happening.
So when you say you found an AI system, is that like a thing where like you can plug in an AI system, like from the
somewhat. AI is one of those rabbit holes that you can just kind of go in, just as much as programming itself. But utility AI system is what I'm using in this case. That's kind of what I was describing, where there's a multitude of things that any AI can do, and it just values whichever thing it can do, but whichever thing seems to be best at that moment in time, and it decides to do that.
So it's kind of like a weighted decision tree thing.
Yeah,
it's like a case statement almost, right?
For the most part.
Okay.
And yeah, we'd like to scale that even further and make it so that the different factions, as we kind of mentioned, we're going to have a hacker group, and how do I want to segue into this? But they'll have different kind of things that they're mostly focused on doing. Like, we'd really like to have a faction that's a bit more aggressive and a faction that's a bit more passive, but they operate in different ways so that they're more distinguished. They have more character to each one. So you might come across one enemy and be like, oh, he belongs to this faction. Like, I don't have to worry about him as much, but maybe they defend their planets a lot harder. Like, I'm not going to touch them. If I touch them, I'm going to get wrecked. Whereas other enemies are like, oh, they're just always going to come at me. If I touch them, they're just going to attack me, but whatever, I'll just crush them.
What about like neutral or even friendly? Like could you get some diplomacy in there maybe, or
I'd love
just
to.
Going to be like everybody's somebody that wants to kill you? Because I'm thinking like if there's just like neutral civilizations, it's like, are they there just to be taken over, or can they defend themselves but they're never going to actually attack?
Right. That's something we really would like to get into. It's something that we kind of have to experiment with because of just kind of some of the objectives of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Being more action-oriented and roguelike than, a really immersive, in-depth story game. I mean, we kind of drifted more towards the latter of those. But we've talked about having some factions that are a bit more neutral and that you can might be able to interact with, or just kind of aren't necessarily out to just get you, to kind of more elevate the story of, you're all just got launched out here. It's not like every prisoner on that ship wants to just hurt everybody. Some of them might be on there for different reasons, and just, less, not as bad of a reason that they were in there. So they're just trying to survive. Why would they be attacking everybody?
Yeah.
And we would love to dive into that more, but it's kind of a battle of what makes for good gameplay.
Yeah.
And what
well, that
works
and
with
you've
what we're
also
trying
got
to do.
the limitations of the player's awareness, right? Because the player might not be able to drink in everything that's going on around because it is in real time. And yeah, because it's like, well, how do I know what 10 different factions are thinking about? I guess unless you colored them like, okay, green guys don't shoot them, you know. They're gonna. I don't know. I guess for a neutral, right? It's like either you take them over, or they would pay you protection money or something.
Yeah,
it's just like, well, you keep the other people from killing me, and I'll pay you.
Yeah, those
but
are
yeah, aside from something super simple like that, I don't know if it would jive. But yeah.
Yeah, and it'd be cool to explore a lot of those concepts. If this game goes well, I would love to do a second version or like a Convicted Galaxy 2 of sorts where we kind of go more in depth and explore those different avenues. But first, we got to make the first one.
so it's like whenever you fly around and you rescue the other ships, right, and you're getting scrap off of them, and then you can build bases with it, right? So the limitation is basically you have to find X number of ships, and then you can build a base. Right, and then you repeat that until you have bases as much as you want them.
Somewhat, yeah.
Can you? Because I saw there's like 3 levels of expanding a base. So what advantage is that to expand up instead of out?
So that kind of goes into the end game a little bit. So for when you first start out, you're just in this one solar system. That's all you know. But you're trying to find a way out of there because you just got shot out on the 6K pod, and you need to. You're essentially trying to find a way home, and rescue your fellow agents on your way out. But you don't really know much of where you're at. So your primary goal is to build up a safe station where you can at least set up and think of it kind of like, you rescue these pilots and you have a place to kind of keep them. And build up different support satellites to defend yourself and whatnot. And you're essentially trying to build up enough so that you can build a radio station, which is going to be, think of it a fairly complicated piece of technology. You need to have a station level 4, which takes a bit of gameplay to be able to get to that point. And once you have enough to build up a radio satellite, it scans in and uncovers a new solar system, and you're able to actually warp to a brand new solar system. So you'll see a portal open on the edge of the solar system. You'll be able to fly straight to it and warp into that portal and get out of there. So, and all through the way, I'll hint a little bit more towards the end game. I won't give it away the end game.
Better not.
Huh?
Better not.
I will not.
I'm just kidding.
But so what you want to do is you want to build a radio satellite in 3 different solar systems so you can triangulate this signal of where you're trying to get to. So you want to build a radio in 3 different solar systems, and once you do that, the location of where you're trying to go, the actual coordinates that you can jump to, is unveiled.
Well, that's cool. I was thinking like you fly around, you build radios, and then you can be like the best DJ in the galaxy.
And that's the route.
And drop the bass. That's the end game. Drop the bass.
Yeah, and I've kind of trying to segue to something into Aaron, and that's perfect. Aaron's doing all the audio, and during the video that you guys have, you can't hear any of it. But Aaron did an awesome job, especially on some of the more recent ones, to get a lot of really cool adaptive 3D audio into the game. And I guess he doesn't have too much to say because nobody can really hear it. But
well, yeah, but the audio is pretty nice. Like I liked how when you're under attack, you get a little alert on your screen, but you also hear it. You hear like a little warble, I think, a little like an alert that reminds you, hey, someone's shooting at you.
I've been experimenting with a lot of the interactive sides of it. So,
and we're big fans of dynamically changing audio. Like situational audio, like from TIE Fighter and whatnot. So I was excited to hear that.
Yeah, will you have Roland support in your?
Oh God. Nice.
Dude, that thing is awesome.
No, it is.
Well, Brian bought a Roland MIDI box, whatever the heck that thing is, and it's the old like 32-bit sound card from way back in the day. And I'm used to playing like TIE Fighter, Wing Commander, and you hear the old Sound Blaster music, right? And that's all I thought there was. And then he's like, "Oh no, you haven't heard this." And then he flips the Roland on, and it was like an orchestra jumped out of his machine. And it's like, wait a minute, that's like a 30-year-old game. How can it sound like a CD? You know, it just it amazed me that they spent the time to actually write that music, and like barely 1% of the population actually had a card that could actually play it.
Yeah, that's insane at the time. Wow. But no, I don't think Aaron's working that support in, unfortunately.
Oh
no.
But no, it's we're using Fmod for it, and it's my first time using Fmod for anything, so it's been a learning experience for me as well.
So what brought you guys together, and when did you start working on this game?
Actually, I think the original game came about 3 years ago. And I had first mentioned it to Aaron. Actually, it was my original idea. It it was supposed to be just a small little mobile game. It was originally my idea. It was supposed to be on mobile, and at that point, it was just like this small little twisting game. And I mentioned it to Aaron. I said, "Hey, I want you to make some awesome audio." He went to school, just an IPR, right?
Yep.
So, Institute of Production and Recording in Minneapolis. He went there for a few years and kind of learned how to be an audio dude. What would you learn how to do?
It was post-production for film.
Yeah, so he's this film audio guy. He makes awesome music as well, just by just hanging out and messing in Logic. So I was like, well, why don't you just make some audio for this little tiny game I'm gonna make, and I'm just gonna put it out real quick. And then all of a sudden, Kevin got wind of it, and he had all these ideas, and I was like, you know what, I kind of like that. If I got another programmer, we could work on that. And we had met in college, and I said, you know what, if you want to jump on, you can work on it. And I had implemented some new ideas, and then last December, so almost a year, it's coming up on a year now, Kevin had actually quit his programming job and jumped on board with Convicted Galaxy, and it's been just about a year that we've been working on it, near full time, between the two of us. And then Aaron's been jumping in to give audio.
Wow. So how far along would you say the game is? I mean, it seems pretty stable and stuff, but you say there's a lot that you haven't added. So how far along would you say?
Yeah, I would say we're right around probably 70. Like, we're not doing final polishing on it quite yet. I mean, we have some cool looking stuff, but we want to add a lot, and then we're going to kind of polish everything, make the gameplay really pop. So we've got a couple months left for sure. I just kind of, in the back of my head, I'm thinking there's about a 6-month type push out plan that I've got, and we want to be kind of out in about 6 months or less.
Oh, that's pretty close.
Yeah, so we want to redo a lot of the artwork, and like you'd mentioned, we have a lot of stuff that we want to put in. We just really wanted to get something out there and make sure that people were enjoying it, make sure that it was actually fun, because it does get, being a game dev, you play your own game a lot. You start to think, is this even fun anymore? Like, I think it's fun. Maybe I need to add this and it'll be fun. And you end up getting into this kind of like loop where you start adding things and you're like, wait, that's really fun. And by the time you've added 30, 40, 50 different things, you hand it to somebody and they go, what is this? Like, because they never even saw the first iteration of it. So they're so lost that they have no idea what this thing is that you just gave them. So we're trying to keep it at that base model as much as we can, and just starting to flatten it out more and more as we progress through the final stages.
Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to ask about, since I really like it, I'm a big user interface guy. Like, I mean, I am really just, if a game has a good user interface, I'm all I'm a even bigger fan. And you guys have for all that's going on in this game, you guys have really managed to streamline this interface where it's not a bunch of keys. They make sense. I mean, I have to switch a couple keys myself because I kept hitting tab to do the afterburner, which is where my brain goes. But it's not tab, clearly. That's the map. Yep. But I really like how, like, even base and ship management with the upgrades and stuff, that's all very streamlined. Just hit tab, then boom, boom, mouse, done. How much work went into making it so efficient?
That's one thing that one of my professors, David Gibbs in UWSP, he really focused on for us, and especially me, because I was doing a mobile game as my final project, and that was the thing that I really kind of focused on. We've been through a couple of iterations, like our third or fourth now. You had played, I think, the previous one before this in your other playthrough.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle, even though that one seemed kind of streamlined. There was some issues with it. We made enough changes where we really wanted something even smoother. And it took quite a while just sitting down and planning it before we sat down and actually built this one, because I think we added a handful of features, plus we streamlined the UI, and that was quite difficult to do all at once.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I would imagine like you're adding something, but also making it like easier to use with fewer elements. Mm-hmm. Like that's a real tricky balancing act. It sounds like.
It definitely is.
But I gotta say, you guys have done. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna build on it. You can go on.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, it doesn't even. The game didn't even seem to need that much of a tutorial. I like how it's like almost seamless. Like, here's a little overlay. This tells you what you need to know right now. Go over to this asteroid. Here's another little overlay. This tells you what you need to know right now. Go over to this wreck. This tells you what you need. Like, it's kind of iterative, and it really works, I think, to bring the player in. Plus, there's not too much on the screen at one time to confuse the player, which I also liked. Like, you only have a few elements but you still have a lot of visibility. You know, so I'm just amazed at the balancing act you guys have achieved in terms of UI, in terms of usability.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's good to hear that. That's exactly what we're going for. And that doing the tutorial, that was really kind of in game. That was a lot of that inspiration came from Risk of Rain. If you haven't played that.
Oh God, yeah. No, I love that game. Yeah, it's hard as frack. Oh, that game is so hard. Oh my God. I've only played a little of it.
Multiplayer, Brad?
Risk of Rain is multiplayer?
Yeah, why haven't we done that yet?
No.
It's tricky to get set up. They don't have servers, so you have to set up your own stuff.
Forward.
That's not a problem with us. You're talking to a bunch of tech heads.
Right. And if you guys want to do a multiplayer match, I would love to get in on that. I just got a PC not too long ago, so I've been.
Wait, what were you coding on if you didn't have a PC?
I've been doing all Mac, so I've been.
Oh God! Oh, I see. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a great series. These guys, I forget their names, but they do Epic NPC Man. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube videos, but they have this one where they work in a store, and there's this guy who comes in to rob the tech store, and he's wanting a Mac, and so the guy's like, no problem, I'll get you a Mac, and he's like, what do you plan on using it for, like Photoshop and stuff? And the guy's like, no, I use it for gaming, and this guy runs up behind him with a golf club and whacks him upside the head. It's so funny.
I just saw that this morning, actually. It's so funny.
Yeah, so I finally broke down and got one, but I couldn't do the port forwarding on the Mac. That was a problem for Risk of Rain. That's why we never played multiplayer, but now I can do it.
So this game, mouse and keyboard. What other support do you guys have? Do you have controller? I take it.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have it in the current build. It's actually in the game. There's just a couple things that I didn't want anybody to get hung up on. But yeah, we have controller support for just about full controller support for PlayStation and Xbox controllers. And then I'm kind of building my own input manager. So I'm trying to find some other generic controllers to make sure that work as well.
Nice.
Brian, you actually have like a sweet controller thing that you use, right?
Oh, well remembered. Yes. For my HOTAS, I've got this big wooden platform called a hot ass. That's actually
nice.
I'm serious. It's HOTAS is hands-on throttle and stick. This is hands-on throttle and stick support. So it's hot ass. Yeah.
I'm trying to give you.
Sounds fun,
but
it's this big wooden platform that holds the throttle and the stick. It's fabulous.
It's your big hot ass.
Yes, I like big hot asses, and I cannot lie.
Can't lie.
Yeah, it would be awesome to eventually make it so our game can work with that. I mean, the way we're building it should. Obviously, it might be a little different from what it's designed for, as we only have 2 dimensions instead of 3. But it would be awesome in the end to have you playing on that thing.
Yeah, but right now, maybe that'd be for Convicted Galaxy 2, but right now I think the less is more / keep it simple stupid.
Dance pad support.
Yeah.
Finally, I can bust out my DDR pad again.
I actually have a USB.
Walk.
I actually have a USB DDR pad. I do. I used to play those things way back in the day.
I never had the fortune of owning one.
They're pretty great, honestly. If your ankles are better shape than mine, you could actually get some decent exercise from that.
The only reason to own one is so that you don't have to go to the arcade and make yourself look like a fool in front of everybody. You can just be at home miserably making a fool of yourself.
You mean in front of the 11-year-old Asian girls who will kick your ass?
Dude, this is the deal. They need a kaiju game with dance pad support so you can actually step on shit.
I would buy that game. I would. Someone's leaving money on the table, not making that. Seriously. Give me a kaiju game with gamepad and dance pad support. Yeah.
Damn straight. I'm gonna call Martin as soon as we get off of here. And
that's Kaiju Go-Go 2. Kaiju Go-Go 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, it would totally work because
so would. Oh my god.
Dance monsters.
Oh my god. It'd be like that Star Wars Kinect game where you have to do certain dance moves to fight the other monsters. Oh god. What am I thinking? Stop it.
Discozilla.
Oh. Wow, we're going on a lot of tangents tonight, you guys. I'm sorry. We usually don't go on.
No, but the more fun the guests are, the more loopy.
This is true. This is true. This is very true.
We do have 6 people talking here.
Yeah,
so I guess I'm not surprised.
It's a little loopy.
They're a little loopy. So let's talk about other games for a second, because we do try and talk about what other games our guests are playing. So what other games are you playing besides your own? Clearly.
Oh, too much Rocket League. A whole lot of Rocket League.
I'm so terrible at that game. I can't. I tried it. And
it's so hard to master, but it's
bad
so much fun.
I'm so bad at it.
It's because it's so hard that it's so satisfying.
I got nothing for, like, you watch esports, right? And it's like League of Legends, whatever, and it's just like, it doesn't excite me. But man, when I watch the Rocket League finals, it's just like that's the only time I ever actually get the sports fan rush,
like,
you know.
Go!
It's like totally, man. I wanna like sit and like paint my naked chest with, like some kind of team
like
thing,
a Matchbox car?
Spill my beer. Yeah, exactly.
Rocket
Paint a big car on my chest and scream at the TV. It's exciting.
Oh man, I love it. It feels like the sport I never had growing up. Like I was kind of like football, but I never really got too much into it, and I wasn't really a big soccer fan. But Rocket League just fills that niche that I never had.
Now they need Rocket Golf, and instead of soccer, it would be some kind of golfing game.
Wasn't that Wii Golf?
Oh god!
Didn't everybody go ape shit over that? The Wii Sports package.
No, it was the bowling. That was the best.
Wow.
The Wii bowling is so fantastic.
There were definitely some underrated titles on those, but the Wii bowling definitely took the cake.
Oh, agreed.
The best thing about the Wii was all the memes about people with a Wiimote sticking out of their TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely the best.
I think we're also a bit loopy now. I just realized this because daylight savings time just happened.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's
but
another
we
It's
have
dark
an
at
extra
5
hour.
now. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's really
There-
throwing me off.
There's a great trailer that these guys did about 2 years ago about daylight savings. It was for like a fake thriller movie about time change. You're like, we have to warn everybody to turn back their clock. What time is it?
Did it have Doc Brown in it?
No, it had Nathan Barnett in it. I don't know if you know who that is, but it's the Skittles guy from out in
Oh, that
California.
guy, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, Rocket League is
So,
good. What else are you guys playing? Sorry, go ahead, Hunter. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was actually going to ask that. Like, what else besides Rocket League are you guys playing?
Some
Rocket
CS:GO,
League,
for sure.
CS:GO, Counter Strike. We played that since we were kids.
What else?
That's a big one for us.
I
playing
remember Counter Strike when it came out.
Yeah,
Back in the 1.6 days.
I work on a Mac, so I don't have too many options there. But
Get
Yeah,
out of here.
he is the
playing a
audio
lot of
guy,
Bejeweled.
so
There are more.
basically
It's
he does use Photoshop.
it's great that there are more options. Like I remember back in the day in the 90s, I worked
That's
in
true.
I worked in an EB, and like 96, and some cute little family came in and went, "Do you have any games for the Macintosh?" And I just laughed right in their face and go, "I think we have some on an end cap. Come here. I think we have a couple." I was an
I think
asshole.
Rebel Assault and Rebel Assault 2 were on the Mac, if I'm not mistaken.
And
TIE Fighter
Warcraft
was on the Mac.
Warcraft 2, the Blizzard stuff like Warcraft, that was on the Mac.
Mhm.
StarCraft.
Blizzard's, yeah, they've been big
And
supporters
Oh, yeah.
and early Bungie stuff like the marathon games.
before that horrible thing, Microsoft.
Ugh.
Yes.
I miss Myth
know-
so much. I miss the Myth
That-
games so much.
That was my first E3, right? Is I'm standing in line and I'm wearing my Half-Life shirt, right? That I just got out of the box because when you bought Half-Life, they gave you a T-shirt, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
What?
But I'm wearing my Half-Life shirt. I'm standing in line for Bungie at E3, and I want to see Oni and I want to see this Halo game, whatever the heck that is, right? And but I was really kind of more there for Oni because it looked really cool. And but then the guy in front of me turns around and he's like, "Dude, nice shirt." It was Gabe Newell.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was my moment. So I stood for like an hour and a half in line bullshitting with the Gabe back before he had ascended
Oh.
into Gabe and
Half-Life is pretty much like half of my soul.
It's good
I've
stuff,
spent
man.
so much time in that game, just modding it, creating maps, just so much time.
I've told people that the gaming industry actually needs another Gordon Freeman or another Master Chief, something, another
really
epic
does.
character, because
You're
it
in
seems like,
Mario.
well, it's just like we don't have really any new epic story characters. We've like they've all come and gone, and everything else is kind of just standalones. Like there's no real
Well, if
heavy
you look at-
hitter.
Well, look at like Fallout, right? This is where it goes wrong because you look at a game like Fallout, they give you all this character customization. Well, at that point, you're not Gordon Freeman; you're just whoever the hell you made, right?
Right,
And
but that's
they need
an
to-
RPG
you need
though.
to
That's
be
very standard.
somebody. Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that like no game gives you like your Duke Nukem, damn it, or whatever.
Mhm.
Where there's no like personality and it's funny because Gordon Freeman is the very definition of zero personality. He never says a word, right? So
Right, but he's like one of the best gaming characters. It's crazy.
yeah. And they should have made the movie, and it should have been Charlie Sheen that played Gordon Freeman because with the goatee, he looks right. Did you ever see that movie? I forget what the heck it was called, but it was a thing where there was like aliens invading, and he worked at some radio telescope place or some shit, and he looked like Gordon Freeman in that movie. Like it was ridiculous. And it was just like, yeah, somebody was inspired by Gordon Freeman, and they were just like, Charlie, you should look like that. And he had the big Wayfarer glasses and everything.
Right.
So Brian,
Yes.
what games are you playing?
Oh,
Yeah,
me?
Brian.
Elder Scrolls Online, Skyrim, and Homefront, The Revolution are the three things that have been taking up my non-space gamey time. Because the special edition of Skyrim came out, so I'm like, I should go back to Skyrim. And because all the mods I love are not on the special edition yet, I went back to vanilla, and I put in about 6 more hours into Skyrim. It's like, oh shit.
I wonder what the stats are. We'll have to look on Steam Spy and see since the special edition came out, what the uptick in players in the vanilla edition has been, because of how many people were just like, damn, I need to play Skyrim again, but I'm gonna go back to vanilla because I don't have my mods.
Exactly. Like I
bet there's a hell of a trend there.
I've got like 50 mods, and like only a fraction of them are ported over to the SE. So it's like, no. And I forgot how just awful the base UI is for Skyrim. It makes me want to punch a cat. Basically,
Brian and I were just talking about that.
It's bad. I've been playing a lot too.
It's so bad. How did anyone live with that Sky UI? I have no idea. Because it's so bad.
It's so hard to do anything.
It's so hard to do anything. Like I want to change weapons. Oh god. Click, 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 click.
So wait. To fall back on Jim's thing real quick, are you talking about the 1996 movie The Arrival?
Yep.
Interesting. Is that what this new one's being remade from?
No.
Okay.
Well, I doubt it highly, right? So this new one, have you seen the trailer?
Yes, looks great.
I really like the trailer, yeah. And it's basically what they need to do. They got this chick there, and it's like, oh, you need to translate whatever. No, what they need to do is go find some freaking Zen calligraphist, right? And have him come in there, because that's very much like a Zen circle that these aliens are communicating in Zen symbology. So it's like,
Thank you, Dan. You're late to the party. Dan just sent me a picture of the guy, and we're already talking about it before he sent it to me. Late to the party, Dan.
So hey, I have been playing a lot of things, right? I'm trying to get back into Witcher 3. I've failed to pick up Fallout 4 yet again. It's like there's too many of these games that are like huge time sink things, like Metal Gear Solid 5. I've probably got like 40 hours into that shit, and I'm not off the first map. That kind of deal. But I'm playing a little Stellaris right now. And I'm digging it. There's so much 4X stuff. Oh my gosh. I was listening to
it's crazy
to the Explorminate guys this morning, and and then the 3 Moves Ahead dudes had the guy from Amplitude on that we had on. He was on their show talking about stuff about the game. Like more things have developed since, but it was nice to listen to him again. Because like now that I'm doing that hour commute again, I'm catching up on all my podcasts. But so I bit the bullet on Titanfall 2. I wasn't going to do it, and then I saw where there is no paid DLC, there is no season pass. It's just one flat price, and you own the game and all the DLC that they release. And I was like, okay, I'll vote with my money for that. I did it. So anyway, been playing that. I suck at it. Like he was talking about Rocket League. It's like I love this game. I suck at this game. Same deal with Titanfall. I'm the last guy on the totem pole every single match, but I'm having a blast. And the single player campaign, not bad at all. But that segues me into asking Hunter, tell us about that Call of Duty.
Okay. So the new Call of Duty game. Now let's keep in mind that I have not personally played through a single player Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare 2. So it's been a while. And ever since Modern Warfare 2, I've had zero interest in getting a Call of Duty game. When I saw the trailer for Infinite Warfare, I got excited. So I was also a little bit leery. And then, of course, as with any Call of Duty game that's been coming out in recent years, it's automatically, like, instantaneously getting negative reviews and feedback. And in my mind, I'm like, well, why? Is this negative reviews and feedback because of the multiplayer, or is it because the story sucks? Like, what's the big deal?
And it's not just negative reviews. It is a giant pile of red on Steam.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense.
To find a positive review is hard.
And this just doesn't make sense to me because I'm just like, well, what's the big deal?
But Hunter, we wanted World War II.
So Jim's showing me some stuff. He's like, hey Hunter, check this out. He's showing me some stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bite the bullet, and I bought the game.
Especially that first space combat mission. Holy shit! Yes. I was just like, all right, we're done here.
Yeah, so I bit the bullet and I bought the game. Now, I have no interest in multiplayer with most of these new games. They're a lot of the same. Wash, rinse, repeat, customizable, whatever, blah blah blah. Very, very much the same. You just pick one, and if you like it, just stick to that. There's no need to really try these other ones because if you have one that you like, they're all the same, but in a different universe.
You don't get the constant dopamine kick from like you kill a couple of dudes and then womp 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 womp, and you unlock a new scope or some trip.
Yeah, I don't give a crap.
Womp, womp, womp.
Don't care. So I played through. I completed the entire campaign of Modern Warfare, or not Modern Warfare, Infinite Warfare, and I gotta say, no, it's about an 8-hour. If you keep up a good pace, you don't really stop to read anything, but you do all of the objectives because there's the primary storyline that you can do, but then there's all these like little side things that you can go and do as well. So it's a little bit like a quest thing, but not really. And then there's like a lot of stuff you can read, like in the captain's quarters. There's like a computer with like captain's logs and personnel reviews and mission updates that you can go and read. So if you were to take your time and read all that stuff and go through it, you'd probably be looking at 9 or 10 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, but in the captain's quarters, right, there's that whiteboard on the wall, and it looks like I haven't got that far where you actually open that up, but it looks like you actually get to choose where you're going to fly.
You do that and fight. You do that on the at the center console and on the bridge. There's actually like a thing, it brings up a map, and you can pick and choose where you want to go. But the stuff in the captain's quarters gives you like way more in-depth information about these missions. So like you can like really pick and choose. I loved the campaign. I thought the story was really great. It's got a bit of a I'm not gonna say anything, but it does have a bit of a sad ending. But the story is very interesting. And I was telling a buddy of mine recently that I would love to see a Mass Effect style RPG set in this world, like because holy crap, the ship designs were fantastic. The look and feel of the characters were great. I mean, I've seen some pretty good CG in video games, but this is probably some of the best. Like you look at the character details on like people's hair effects and stuff like that. I was like, wow, I would watch a movie of this.
Well, like the opening scene, right? Like through the space helmet, I'm like, oh shit, it's Jon Snow. How'd they get that guy in here? What's he doing in space?
I honestly didn't even know it was Infinite Warfare or Call of Duty when I first saw the trailer. I was just like, what is this game? This looks hot. And then I saw it was Call of Duty. I was like, oh, they saved the genre. And then it got all this hate. And I really don't understand it. Like maybe from the multiplayer sense, they're doing some stuff I'm not a big fan of, but the core of it, I think it's really good.
See, this is what I think they needed to do, though, and I think they needed to do this because they do this every now and then. Like I think I have Black Ops for some random stupid reason. They split the campaign and the multiplayer into 2 different executables. I really honestly think that they should offer the game in just a single player and just a multiplayer because there are people that just want to play multiplayer, right?
I thought they did that for Black Ops 3. You could buy a standalone.
They definitely didn't do that for this. And so I personally feel that they should, they should split that up because $60 is a bit steep, but to be honest with you, I felt like it was worth every penny for the campaign by itself.
Yeah, but where they've jacked it up so bad in the multiplayer, and the reason that people, I think a lot of the reason that it's getting the heat that it's getting about multiplayer, okay, if I bought this thing and I want to play in space, all right, so the multiplayer, they made it, we seem to be addicted right now to first-person hero shooters, right? Where it's not just like I'm a dude with a gun, like in the original Modern Warfare, right? Which I think was the best of, and Call of Duty 1 and 2, they haven't topped them yet, right? And it's just like you're a dude, you got a gun, you run around, you shoot other dudes with guns, and that's it. It's like Counter-Strike, right? It's that formula. It's perfect. But now in Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 3 rather, it's like a hero thing. It's like, no, I'm like Ivan, the guy with the ground spike thing, and I charge up my super ability, and then I can like kill everybody within 30 feet of me in a circle, right? Or I'm the super sniper guy that can turn invisible and one shot people from across the map, or I'm the it's like everybody is a character now that's like a hero. It's like Overwatch kind of thing, right? So it's like, no, I don't want to play that. I just want everybody on a level playing field. I don't want anybody to be that particular superhero. And it's I think they've just jacked that up. And then with the zombie stuff, right? I don't mind that you're going to do zombies. That's fine. But the zombie part of the game, it's like a whole other game, right? Like, okay, so we're playing in space. All right, let's play zombies. All right, it's going to be some space zombies, right? No, we're clowns in an amusement park. What?
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, that's real.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, it's like killer clowns instead of zombie mode now.
That's why Call of Duty, the whole franchise, it lost me. Black Ops 2, I think, was when I was done.
It's just kind of become one of those, like, it's got its fan base, and they're never going to leave, and it's going to carry the franchise into eternity because they're never going to get off board. And I enjoy Call of Duty. I have fun with it, but it's not my go-to.
What they need to do is somebody needs to kidnap Kojima and lock him in the basement and make him make a Call of Duty game.
So Call of Duty,
it'll get positive reviews then on Steam.
That would be some batshit crazy stuff if Kojima made a multiplayer shooter.
So long story short, long story long actually, Modern Warfare or Infinite Warfare, I guess, whatever. The latest Call of Duty, really good story. If you're into single player and story and stuff like that, you'll really enjoy this. I did. This is coming from someone who hasn't bought a Call of Duty game in a while, so maybe that's why I really enjoyed it. But I've also been playing a lot of Star Wars: The Old Republic and Star Wars Galaxies on the EMU server. So that's kind of been my...
Okay, so that segues me. Right. It triggers
Go
me.
ahead.
Triggered. Okay. Battlefront 3. Now that you've played a good space game, now are you that much more bitter because it could have been a freaking Star Wars campaign?
Yes, actually I am. I am
awesome.
actually bitter about that. I'm actually super salty about that because
super space salty.
Yes, like
salty like the salt monster in
salty.
Star Trek. Okay.
I do not understand with. Okay, so it's not Battlefront 3, right? Like it's like I don't understand how you reboot a video game franchise. It's just like this is the original Battlefront because they're coming out with Battlefront 2 next year. But I'm just like, we've already got Battlefront 2. I was like, how do we do this? How are we remaking a game series and we're just going to call this like this is the new Battlefront. This is like the remake Battlefront, and but it's not a remake because if it was a remake, anyway, getting mad here, but. It like there could have been a genuinely great campaign that was done the way that DICE did the Battlefront game. Like there could have been something so fantastic there, and it just like it rips at me on the inside because I think back to like the development of Star Wars 1313, and if you go back and look at the trailers and the footage that they were developing for that game, and you think to yourself, why was this canceled? And then you look at Battlefront and you go, I have been ripped off.
Well, yeah, and with Call of Duty, it's in space. It's like space, there's no air. You shoot windows out, people get sucked out onto the moon and shit, and it's awesome. There's like, robots running around with guns.
Yeah, I'll tell you this right now.
People's heads and stuff. Do you get to drive a mech? Do they let you drive a mech in Infinite Warfare? Because I saw there's mechs.
No, but you do get to hack robots and run around as them.
Okay. So, but my point though is like Star Wars never has space. There's no space in Star Wars. You're always on a planet. You're always breathing the air, right? They're never on like an airless moon where the lack of environment is a danger.
Empire Strikes Back when they're inside the cave monster.
Oh my god! Whatever. Yeah, but they're still walking around. They have.
But it is a rarity.
gas mask.
Yes,
on, whatever.
you're right. It's right.
But,
you saw it more. You saw it more in other games, though, and in the comics and stuff like that. But
okay,
yes,
but
the use of spacesuits was very rare.
So now that you've played Call of Duty, right, and you got the what we wish that unmentionable Chris Roberts game.
I was about to say
anything.
Infinite Warfare. It can, Squadron 42 can suck it now.
Well, Infinite Warfare
I don't even care.
Worms though, so it's kind of.
I don't care. Like after playing this, I'm just like I have no desire. Like my anticipation and excitement for playing Squadron 42 has been like sucked out of the room.
You know what I bet.
Being breached.
You know what I bet happened.
See what I did there?
Yes, I do. You know what I bet happened last week? I wish that I could be a fly on the wall and watch Chris Roberts playing Infinite Warfare and picking up.
Be like, we need this in the game. We need this in the game. Stop
I
what
know,
you're doing
man.
right now
it's
and
like
add this to the
death
game.
cycle of that game just went back another 5 years. It's just oh my god.
Sorry.
So,
sorry.
But,
Let's not.
But it's the thought of what if you just take Infinite Warfare, right, and just swap out Star Wars assets, but leave the locations and stuff the same. Like you're raiding a moon base. People are getting sucked out the windows, except they're stormtroopers, not generic other army guys.
Right. Well, you also had this in Force Unleashed. You had a little bit of that in Force Unleashed. But anyway. So
I just look at that as just a great could have been, should have been, didn't happen. So
anyway, we're done.
Yeah.
Brian, take it away.
Yeah, I think we've. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but we did get a good chat in about your game before we had all those tangents. So when is this thing gonna hit Steam?
Oh boy. Well, we're gonna be working on setting up a Kickstarter here, and then we'll know. So we've just been talking about it, and we're about 60% sure that we're gonna start within the first couple weeks of December. The first or second week, like the 6th or the 12th.
Right before Christmas?
It is. Yes. It's we could wait for after. We're kind of still debating that. It might still happen, but it's better to end after Christmas than during it. So we want to wait a little bit longer, at least.
Right. Okay, well, guys, keep an eye out for that in December. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking the time out to talk to us tonight. It was a really fun show, even though I think we talked about your game 75% of the time, 80% of the time.
I had fun.
It was still a majority. And as long as you had fun, that's really what matters. So, folks, just a quick programming note. Next week on the show, we are talking to the developer of Particle Fleet Emergence. The latest in, the Creeper World series of games? Do you know what I'm talking about? They just confirmed, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
So they have added a giant expansion-y thing to Creeper World. Or not that. Sorry.
No, that's the other game you're thinking of. That's the other game.
That's the other Creeper World.
Yeah, that's the other thing. But yeah, this game, Convicted Space, y'all. It is. I said it right? I'm so my brain is
close.
Galaxy. Oh my god, guys, my brain.
Third time, that's all right.
Fried. Convicted.
Too much space.
Yes, too much space.
That's it.
My brain is really melted this week. I'm like, I am not even in it. Like I played House of the Dying Sun. I was just like, whatever. This is boring. Maybe I need a break. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
sometimes
folks.
People need breaks.
Yeah, sometimes people need breaks. Gentlemen, though, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk about your game. Guys, it's Convicted Galaxy. Just wanted to make sure I got the name right that time.
That's it. Thanks for having us, Brian.
Yep,
there will be a Kickstarter soon, and then Steam hopefully soon after that. After a hopefully successful Kickstarter, we will definitely do all we can to help promote that.
And after that, you're making a kaiju game with dance pad support.
DDR pad, yeah.
Please
of course.
Please make that happen.
I would buy any accessory you wanted. If there were gloves that you had to plug in to punch buildings and other kaiju,
Gotta
I'd buy
whip your Oculus.
Yeah, I'd buy all the
everything.
accessories. I would buy.
Oh my VR DDR pad.
You know, what'd be the funniest thing about that? Watching someone else play it.
No, dude, that would be the deal. You could have kaijus and they battle with a dance off.
That's what I said.
Oh my god, multiplayer,
like Star Wars Connect, exactly. Like Star Wars Connect.
You don't even need the pad because the VR will recognize your foot stomps.
Oh dear, you're probably
Just
right.
Get your Vive, and you're good.
God. You're probably
right.
I
saw they had that whatever that dance game is that was on the Connect, dance something dancing. But anyway. Yeah, it was Dance Russian Revolution, where you have to like kind of squat and just do that kick thing. No, but no, it was whatever that dance game is, and it just came out on Steam, and I'm like, how do you put this on a PC? Because Connect, right? So I look at the thing, and it's actually there's an app that you put on your cell phone, and then you just put your cell phone in your pocket, and apparently it can tell that you're dancing.
Wow.
Which kind of scares me because that means the NSA can monitor when I'm dancing as well.
Yes, anyone who knows. Like Kevin could probably hack.
Right, and that enables the creepy world of what the hell was that movie back in the 80s? It was something. Oh crap! It had John Lithgow in it. He was like the dad that forbade dancing.
Flashdance.
Kid.
Flashdance.
No, not Flashdance.
Yeah, it wasn't Flashdance.
No.
It was Footloose.
Footloose. That's it. Yeah.
Footloose.
Right. So now we're living in the Footloose society because the NSA can watch you dance with your cell phone anywhere.
On that note,
folks.
We should probably cut this out. On that note. So thank you everyone for joining us, gentlemen. Thank you for sitting in with us and talking about your game, friends. I'm getting the name right, Convicted Galaxy. Keep an eye out for it, and we will talk to you next time. Have a great night.